Fucking finally. Jesus Christ. My apologies. So late with the podcast. And also the fact that this is my third attempt to hit record. I was hitting record going, what the fuck is... And do you know what? It doesn't take a lot to throw me. But on my third attempt, I did realise that there was no memory card. And fucking hell, talk about a calamity of errors. You're all very welcome to Buckshot for Monday the 9th of April, which I know I'm ridiculously late. People weren't really bitching, but I got a couple of messages kind of going, hey Tom, what's the fucking crack? Where's the fucking podcast? Here's the fucking crack. Just hadn't fucking time. It's paid work kind of takes priority, unfortunately. But it was I got episodes recorded, but they're not to be released yet until part of people promoting stuff or whatever. So it's to be in line with that. So I got it recorded last Friday, but obviously you can't just bang it straight up magically. You can't click your fingers. You have to actually edit the fucking thing and tidy it up and clean up the sound and stuff, and do an intro as well. So you're all very welcome. For any first time listeners, this is welcome, and hit subscribe. Why not? You can find Buckshot anywhere on any of the platforms anyway. I know it's goes up on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts and all the rest, but it shows up on all the podcasts, Watch My Thingies platforms. If you want to get in contact with me, very easy. Very, very Tom O'Mahony comedy. Very simple. It's I'm not a hard fella to find, realistically. If you haven't, nobody ever does when it comes to actual questions, or they hit me with the odd question like, fucking, have you any, who's coming up next? That's about it. I like my listener style. They're like, Tom, do whatever the fuck you want. We're just going to listen in on whatever old natter you're going to talk about. We're not really that stressed about the world because there's no real narrative. I don't claim to be an expert on any fucking thing. And that's the fuck about the size of it. If you do, we do have a Patreon page, and I do have a couple of... I'm getting to grips with it. Weirdly, it's not allowing me to put up private videos on it purely for patrons. So at the minute, I've a bunch of kind of clips and videos and fun things to be putting up. But I'll be putting them up for our patrons. So Patreon, if you haven't heard of it, essentially it's for artists basically who are doing shit for free. And if you feel like donating, it's great. Anything from $1 upwards, it's fantastic. The whole thing is essentially, as I was said before, it's just to go towards getting some new sound gear, to getting new sound gear and a proper camera and everything to film the podcast. And we make a proper fucking production of this thing. But right now, I mean, this isn't too bad, it's okay. And if you feel like it, if you don't, it's okay. But I will be getting to a point where it will be, the videos and whatnot and all that kind of stuff will only be really available to patrons. And I'm going to start bringing out fucking t-shirts because I do like the Buckshot design that I have. And people have actually asked me about it. You can go to T Republic on my Facebook page, and they actually have, you can go through there, you can get it on all sorts. You can get the Buckshot symbol, you can get it on phones, cups, t-shirts, fucking you name it. You can get it on fucking whatever you want, really. T Republic. If you go to my Facebook page, which is Tom O'Mahony Comedy, you'll find it at the top of the page. Also, there's a bare knuckle comedy, which is just a cartoon of a bear with busted knuckles. It's, you know what? Nobody else will have one. If you have one, they're not available anywhere else bar at T Republic at the minute. But sure, moving swiftly along. My reason behind it, Jesus, it was a busy week, lads. It was a busy fucking week for gigs. When was I last talking to you? Last week with Paul Woodfull, or the week before nearly at this stage, yeah. Last weekend, I was down with the mighty Eddie O'Sullivan, who will be a podcast guest coming up soon enough, an actual proper podcast, and not just listening in on the commentary between us. The mighty Munster pulled it out of the bag. Another miracle match down at Thomond Park. I was down in Reardon's in Cork for it, and mother, I don't know, maybe somebody can tell me. I have not seen it. I once upon a time I worked there, and I used to frequent the place a lot when I lived in Cork, but I don't know of another bar that actually has a big screen. I know pubs say they have a big screen, but really it's just a projector projecting like games or whatever. This is a fucking 10-foot by 20-foot LCD screen they have. It's incredible. It's like the ones you see at the actual games. Fucking, how much does something like that cost? I've never seen one. And they brought it, I don't know how they even got it in the fucking door. I just don't know. I don't know how it's fucking colossal. But, what an impressive setup they have. It was a lot of fun, actually. And of course, it was made more fun by the fact that, that Munster won, and then I was back up the road straight away, and I was on in Chaplin's Comedy Club, which was very nice, very well mannered, and Good Friday, the first ever gig I've ever done on a Good Friday. It was, and again, there was no wildness. Like I thought, people, do you know what I mean? You don't know what to expect. There was no fucking wildness on it. I was at Chaplin's as well. Sunday night, then I was with Totally Wired, Pat McDonnell, and Mark Doheny in Abbey Leaks of all places, in County Laois, I assume Abbey Leaks is, for, I don't know what they were raising money for, but maybe their GA club or whatever, but they put about 200 people in the room, like, and I think they'd sold about 300 tickets, but to say that these people didn't know what they were in for, it was just 200 people with their arms folded. It was, and do you know what? You can be spoiled for so long in good comedy clubs and people are like buzzing and it's all yeah and everything else. But you know what? Every so often it's good to do a gig like that because it's like, oh my God. I didn't completely eat a dick, like I didn't completely die in my hole, but it was at no point was I rocking that room. It was like people get shy, they don't know should they be allowed to be laughing at this kind of stuff, and it didn't help that Father Hennessy was in the room as well. Although he was laughing, he was loving it. I actually acknowledged him and briefly said hello to him, and he was like, yeah, whatever, but people were still a bit freaked out, you know, but I don't think it was completely down to him. I think they just had never been, like if Pat Short stood on the stage, they'd know what to do. But when there's a guy just banging out fucking his own comedy or whatever, it was kind of freaking him out a bit, and I was just, and we all, like, Pat went on and was like, here, you're just fucking getting this, like, but I'm like, they were coming around, they were grand. Tuesday, Monday night off, where was, Tuesday night, first ever time in Camden Comedy Club. Now, it is just on show, but I've been in on show, which is typically on a Wednesday night. But I've never done the Camden. It was good because it was me and a lot of very new comedians and whatnot. So it was good to kind of see just the next crop and whatnot, and just chatting. Like it was good chatting. When they were asking advice, a couple of them and stuff like that. And it was really, really cool. Like it was a nice little crowd there as well. Guy brought a dog in. I forgot that on show is actually a dog-friendly fucking bar. And I'm like, man, please take your fucking dog out or let me have it on stage. I was just about to go on. He was like, no, I'm heading away now. I was like, oh, thank fuck. Because you cannot compete. If there's a class-looking fucking little puppy in the back of the room, how's a comedian going to compete with that? Like, the attention, I know it sounds weird that you want all the attention, but you actually need it for jokes to work. Like, so it was like, man, I would have loved to bring the dog on stage, though. I can't quite bring my one on stage just yet. She would get fucking so, like, she just want to be licking the face at the front row. If a dog does if I do ever bring the dog on stage, I will be doing no material whatsoever. It would be just talking about the dog. I might actually it might be a good idea. Bring the dog on stage and have a conversation with the dog just to see how it pans out. And there's a dog. I have the door wide open because it's not actually a bad day. And the dog is pegging it in and out. There's dogs, they're making themselves known. You'll probably hear it in the background. I was in the Comedy Cellar on Wednesday night. That was good. Jesus Christ, my memory is shot to shit. That was good crack actually. Yeah, that was good crack. It was a quiet enough night, but it was, there was about 40 or 50 in. It was tasty. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the Laughter Lounge. Sure, I mean, there's no real talking about the Laughter Lounge. They pack it out. It's a professional outfit. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. I was on with Johnny Camden and Tim Clark from the UK and Ian Coppinger. And I mean, if you do yourself a favour, there's a different vibe in all clubs. If you want to, you want to see how it's run professionally, the Laughter Lounge. And they've got some interesting things coming up that I'm going to be tied in with as well, like just in other new comedy nights and stuff. So that should be fun. And then last night I was in Antrim, and see, this is the thing. I was planning on doing it over the weekend, but then I forgot. I was filming. What you remember? I was telling I was coaching people about with this acting, but we were actually filming all over the weekend out in Malahide. I think I got sunburned yesterday. Imagine that. I think I got a bit of a colour. And then Antrim last night, which is one of the most spotlessly clean towns I've ever seen. I think they're quite evangelical. I think, they take religion quite seriously there, I think. But they got on board. I was opening for Neil, and Neil isn't exactly, he's not going to be saying prayers, but he's a bit rough himself, like in his own right, so they weren't too bad, like, but they got on board a bit. I think there was a bit of, oh, Jesus Christ, this man going to start cursing and swearing directly at us. Well, it was class, because I got up there kind of early, and it turns out the show was actually starting at 7:30, so it was like, lovely. Done and dusted for 8:05 back down the road. But I am absolutely fucking bollocks today. I'm absolutely fucking... I couldn't work out. I had to go into the pet shop this morning just to get... I can't for the life of me. I had one before. You know these things you clip onto the dog's fucking harness and you clip it into the old seatbelt. Just stop the dog flying around the back seat of the car. Went in to get one of them today, and I may as well be fucking looking for, I don't know, a fucking car inside there. My brain just would not work. It had burnt out. I'd actually blown the fucking engine on my brain this morning. It's like, what? So confusing. I was just standing there and just looking at these two fucking yokes that weren't it at all. And this woman thankfully came over and went, is everything alright? I just kind of looked at her and went, the pluggy thing for the fucking seatbelt doggy thing. And she just kind of looked and went, is this guy hung over to shit? Which I'd love, to be, but I wasn't. I was just, I suppose my brain was fucking mentally fucking hung over. And of course, the big news of the week. Obviously, there's been some fantastic... I mean, my beloved Tipperary got beaten in the league final yesterday by Kilkenny. We hopefully get them in the championship again. Fuck, Kilkenny are incredible, aren't they? They'll be a force again this year, like. Munster, like I said, won at the weekend. But the big one, of course... Oh, no, Munster won this weekend, which I didn't mention. Yeah, but the big one, of course, is Mr. McGregor. Oh. I don't think anything's going to come of it, though. I don't think anything's going to... I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine. First time rapping the knuckles. Caution. Fucking $1 million fucking fine or something. He's a lot of fines to pay. But money talks. Especially in the States. They love money. They love money in America. So I think he'll be alright. I mean, it was a fucking... What the fuck was he doing? His buddy gets fucking a bit of a slap off Khabib or whatever, your man fucking low, and your man jumps in a plane. You have to think it was a bit of a promotional thing too. He was thinking, and it probably went too far. You know what I mean? He was probably hoping Khabib would come off the bus and he'd get a bit of a schmozzle going and get a bit of a heat going on the likes of the fight or whatever to rattle him before his fight. And it probably got out of hand. And I mean, people are saying, he was doing coke and everything. Who knows? He looked fucking bananas alright when he was throwing that little the wheelie trolley thing, and he made shit at the window. It looked fucking bananas. But I mean, your man won't close the door on him when it comes to money, because and I don't know if he comes out the other end with only a fine, it will make a fucking colossal fight out of him coming back to fight your man Khabib. And that's not condoning the behavior. Fucking carry on like it was just I can't see how him... I mean, they're all the fellas that came with him, of course, they're all going, yeah, Conor, you're great, and everything else, but, I mean, at what point does one of them go, hold on, is this fucking mental what we're doing? Your man got a bit of an old slap in the hotel corridor over in America. Let's all go to a private jet, fly to fucking... What? It doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? That somebody wouldn't go, no, I think we could sit this one out, lads. I think he'll be fine. So, to show up and solidarity and loyalty. What? Nothing happened, your man. He got a bit of a slap in the face and they had a bit of a row with your man. What the fuck? They're fighters. So, I don't know. I mean, I think if he comes out the other end, there'll be a lot of money to be made for failing that. Just go to... Although, if he gets a criminal conviction, will he lose his visa? Will he be allowed to fight in America is the question. That's a question I have for my listeners. Do you know anything about that? I know Mike Tyson was able to travel and certain sanctions to just travel to the fight and all the rest of it, but would he be allowed to? Or they might actually stage a super fight and have it on in Russia with your man Khabib. Anyway, I don't know enough about the thing to really know or comment on it, but yeah, that's fucking whatever. I'm going to have another guest lined up this week, so there'll be one out in a couple of days' time as well. So I will get another one in before the week end to try and catch up on myself, and yeah, all gravy, baby. A couple more guests. Actually, I like trying to just pin them in. Like I said, it's fucking tricky. It's tricky. For now, though, let's moving on to this week's guest. I didn't, like I said, I didn't actually have, I know this chap. I met him a couple of times. He's new enough to comedy. Nice lad. A lot to say for himself, in fairness to him. And he'd asked, could he be on the podcast? And I was like, you know what? Fucking, I don't know you that well, but why not? If you're in comedy and all the rest of you got something to talk about, let's see. And like I said, interesting young fellow, only 21 years of age, giving comedy a fucking go. It was an interesting take from his point of view. So have an old fucking gander. And please enjoy Nathan Beatley. We're off to the races, Nathan.
Deadly, let's go for it.
How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Have you done a podcast before?
I haven't done a podcast per se. I've done like a student interview where they bring it in. We do a couple of times. So that's about it.
We should get to know you, like, because I've only met you a handful of times, really.
Yeah,
I think I met you out in Bray. Have you been doing much comedy since I met you?
Since you met me, yeah, I've done a couple of things really. I went to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Kind of did a bit of in the Fringe. Now, I wasn't actually in the Fringe, but while it was going on, you know what I mean? All the comedy clubs gave me a couple of spots. So,
Would you go over there for a couple of days, was it?
I went over for a week, yeah. I think it was not just gone the year before that.
Yeah.
During my first year in comedy is what happened.
Deadly.
And on my first year, I went over and just kind of learned about it. You know what I mean? I kind of took my time to soak it all in. I took a break this year.
You know what I mean? What are you, 20?
21.
Fucking hell,
I'm
like,
a babby in it.
Yeah, there's loads of time. You're as well to learn, like, fucking, yeah. There's no real learning in it anyway. There's no book to be told. Like, you just kind of, as you fucking go.
Yeah, you have to teach yourself.
Because as soon as you start copying something, you've gone wrong. Like, you know what I mean?
What you mean, yeah. That's it.
It'll come to you. Are you college still or?
No, I work, and basically I never wanted to go to college, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that you can't teach comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember how I got into it was Sharon Mannion had a workshop on in the Gaiety, and I knew I wanted to do something on stage and chatting and talking, and I didn't know whether I wanted to go into acting or if I wanted to go into comedy. So I decided, right, I'll give the workshop a go and we'll see what it's like. And we got into that, and she put me on a gig at the end of it. And basically what happened was I realised then that I didn't want to go to college and study and go out and get a normal job. You know what I mean? It didn't help me. So what I did is I wanted to, I don't know, the way my life was, right, growing up, I just wanted to talk about all the mad shit in my head. The way I see it, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And I couldn't do that with becoming a banker. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying,
anything like that. And it just... If it's not fun for me, I don't want to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's a good attitude to have, in fairness, because you see, I suppose society is telling everybody, you have to do this and you have to do that. You fucking, like, if you don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Don't just, I mean, the number one rule is don't be a useless cunt, like.
That's
just
it,
do something,
just do
but
something.
don't be a useless cunt.
That's what my mum was telling me.
Do you know? And are you from Selbridge?
No, originally I grew up in London.
Right.
And which I bring that into my gigs a lot. Sometimes I start off in an English accent,
right?
Because I can change it up really quickly, and then like you bring them through a piece, and then once you're at a certain point,
you get them liking you. So you get them liking
you, and then you switch it. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, fuck, I can't do that accent anymore. It's killing me. And then they're like, oh, you're from Dublin. Oh, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So, I grew up in London. Spent 10 years there, and I have all my family over here. I was born in Ireland,
right?
And so we moved back, and since we moved back, it was just madness.
Right.
Complete madness.
What do you mean madness?
It's a very different life over here. You know what I mean? If you want to raise a kid, this is it's easier to raise people here than it is in London. You can't leave in London as a child. You know what I mean?
No, it's bananas.
You can't go inside the flats.
Like, yeah.
So I came over here, and then getting accustomed to this life over here, it's very mad because the shops close at a certain time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The buses stop going at a certain time. The trains stop. Over in London, everything's 24/7. You know what I mean?
It's bananas. It's like New Yorkshire. It just doesn't shut off.
Not at all. It just keeps going. And I love London. You know what I mean? I go back every so often and visit a couple of cousins over there. And it's great because it's kind of like taking a break from Ireland then.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Well, it is good to kind of speed things back up again. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And you moved to Dublin, not actually to Selbridge, was it?
Originally we moved to Clondalkin.
Right.
Where my mum grew up. And then we moved to Ballyfermot, and then my mum was like, this place is a shithole. So we need to get
that's
out.
the thing, like, years ago all them places were lovely.
Yeah.
And they just turned into fucking kips,
they
like.
went mad. And basically what happened was we moved to Selbridge, and it's not even that Selbridge is any better. Do you know, I say it like Selbridge is an area where you come from, like Selbridge is an area full of people who think that they're too good for Clondalkin but are too scummy for D4.
Yeah.
It's really, we're going to pretend that we're doing well. And if that's what makes them
every city has them. Like Blarney is the one in Cork.
Yeah,
it's a lovely, it's a fine spot, but there's a ton of people who they've gotten a few bob, but they haven't really.
And they're still all like sniffing coke on the weekends, and everyone does their thing. You know what I mean? Everyone does their thing.
And fucking coke is mental, man. I was in the Jacksonville After Lounge last night, and it's one of the few places where they have so much security. And I was just expecting, because every comedy club I go into, lads are doing coke, but just walked in, it was like, oh yeah, everybody's frightened of the security in here. So it was contrary to the rule going in there last night, like, because it was just. But fucking hell,
do you know, it's mad, right? I've noticed that everyone's in the comedy clubs, they're all out doing their drugs or whatever, but they're all getting offended. You know what I mean? They're all getting themselves on these substances that is making them want to go wild. But yet, when you say something a bit wild, they're like, "Oh no, I can't take that."
Yeah, but you see, I mean, it's not making you a better person. It's just if you're a dickhead to start with, it's just going to make you a bigger dickhead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And chances are, if you're even sound, it might even make you a dickhead again. You know?
Yeah. I remember I was at a gig one time. I was in the Woolshed.
Yeah.
And Rory Campbell put me on, and actually Rory kind of got me started in comedy.
All right.
Because after I came out of the workshop, I remember I had a gig up in the Halfpenny Inn, and I met Rory, and I forgot all my jokes, so I freestyled it.
Right.
And it was my first like actual gig where it wasn't kind of like, oh, invite your mum, invite your dad, invite your friends. It was an actual gig, right? And I forgot everything on the bus in, and I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? And I got up on stage, forgot everything as well, so I just told everyone I forgot everything, and we'll wing it. We'll see how it goes. And I ended up winning at the end of the night. You know the way they had the little
the ducky?
And all like that. So I won that, and then Rory came up to me and he goes, we get you on the Woolshed next Monday.
Deadly.
I was like, deadly. So I went up there, and there was this guy, and he was off his face, just screaming up at everything. And I bombed so hard.
Yeah.
Right? But it was great, because like, it teaches you, you know what I mean? If you don't bomb, you don't learn. And I bombed, and the guy, I was like, right, I'm going to go now. And the guy was like, yeah, finally, great, yeah. I was like, you're really drunk, aren't you? He was like, yeah. I was like, I hope you drive home. Boom. The whole crowd got back on your side. And it's nice. It's just that one thing, you know what I mean? Everyone goes back to you.
Well, that's like, it's something you kind of learn it subconsciously, is that little things like that come to you. Like, you can, if you point out the elephant in the room, people are kind of, because nobody wants to do that. But if you're the one going, yeah, look at that cunt. Everybody, oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. He's a cunt.
You're right on that one.
Like upstairs, I don't get many hecklers now, in fairness. I suppose my stuff is slightly aggressive, I suppose. But I remember upstairs from here in the International one night, there was just a fella roaring at everybody. Yeah. And I was closing the show, and I kind of, not for any hero fucking tactics or anything, but I just felt, just for solidarity, I need to shut this cunt up. Not so much for me, because I wasn't overly bothered by him, like, but he was just being a noisy cunt to everybody. And I just went up, and I mean, to say, like, the things I said to him, like, you wouldn't say to a fucking dog, like.
Really?
Oh,
that bad?
God. I even afterwards, I was like, fuck. I didn't know I would say that to another person in public anyway. Like, I mean, I went after him like fucking bad. And everybody, but people, I actually probably pushed it too far, to the point where like, I know Tom, he's done. He's done. But he walked, in fairness, it was great. He walked out the back door, everybody gave a big cheer. But there was a moment where people were going, oh, fucking hell, this fella's a fucking lunatic. Because I got off, but you have to put them cons to fucking bed. Like,
you do. I've learned now, I'm only doing it 2 years. And I've learned that not everyone's going to like it from the start.
No.
And that's not your problem.
Well, you don't want everybody to like it.
Exactly.
Because if that's the kind of comedian you're going to be, then you're going to be Michael McIntyre.
Exactly.
It's going to be beige.
I know what you mean.
Fuck that.
Making jokes about tuna and spices. And
yeah. I mean, as soon as you start doing like fucking baby jokes like that, you know, and you're going, yeah. Unless it's fucking... I mean, sure, any subject is fair game, but, like, if you're just going, isn't it gas how babies say things, you're like, embarrass you, but you're like, oh, shut the fuck. And I see lads going that way, and I don't know if it's they really want to go that way, or they're not gigging enough to kind of come up with sharper stuff. Like, it's always good to just go the other way. Like, you'll hear, like... I don't have any children, but my first thought would be probably talking about them being a cunt. Yeah. Do you know the cunty moments? Like, if I was to talk about it, but I steer clear of it. Like, people ask me, like, why I don't talk about fucking...
I think it's an oversaturated topic.
Oh, it totally is.
It's like, totally everyone can talk about it. Let's talk about something that people don't want to talk about. I talk about me going to visit my dad in prison. And that is an aspect of my life that literally nobody else can copy.
No.
And that's what you need to do. I remember everything is funny in a certain aspect. no matter what.
It's humour in everything.
It's humour in everything, right? And I've noticed that. I did a gig up here before, and people got offended. Someone got offended because I was like, well, I went to visit my dad, and to be honest, I felt like I'd get raped in there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, look at me. I am 21 years old.
You're rapeable.
I'm rapeable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone was like, oh, I really don't like that. The amount of stuff it's got. It's like, look at me and tell me I wouldn't get raped in prison.
Yeah.
Try telling me that. You know what I mean? And it's, if you take yourself out of the situation and then just look at what the person's just saying, you know what I mean?
But this is the thing, like, I'm even thinking of following, like, continuing with that joke. The more somebody gets fucking offended, the more I would push it if I were you. But I'm sick in the head, like, I like to make awkward scenarios. Like, that would be, you know, where you could turn around and go, follow it up with, because to be honest with you, I'd be a little insulted if I wasn't, if somebody didn't try and rape me, you know. But, but sure, come here, there's people get, like, it's a thing nowadays to be offended. Yeah, it's a hobby. It's a fucking hobby nowadays. Like fucking Pokemon Go was last year. This year is fucking getting offended.
Do you know what? I was watching it, right? And a friend of mine, Steve, and he said that he wanted to get back into comedy. I think he was around a year or two before me. And he kind of foreseen this whole offence coming. Yeah. And he was like, Nathan, I'm out. I'm good. I'm gone. And I was like, okay. And he texted me and he was like, I want to get back into comedy. I was like, take your time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I feel like the comedy scene at the moment, it's very cliquey.
It's always been cliquey.
You know what I mean?
Since the day I started, it's been cliquey. But the only way to do that is to keep banging.
That's it.
That's the only way. And it's cliquey the world over. You can't, like, you're not finding out anything new. It's cliquey because it's mostly populated, just like any art form, it's mostly populated by misfits and people who didn't fit. But people like to be part of a group, whether they know it or not. They like to be part of a group. And what I've noticed is, especially when I was starting out, because I would be quite adverse to what was normally fitting in, because I didn't come with any fucking pity me drum. I didn't have one. What the fuck are you going to pity me about?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I'm a qualified civil engineer who made and lost a ton of fucking money during the boom, but had a great fucking time doing it. I was decent at sports in school. My missus is good looking. What the fuck have I got to...
Your missus is good looking.
Do you know what I mean? But there's nothing... But, so I'm stripped bare down now to just go, I just want to be a funny cunt. Because I enjoy telling fucking gags, and I think it's fucking funny.
I've noticed that, like, someone said that in comedy you need to be the underdog.
No, you don't.
And it's like, no, you don't. If you want to play the underdog, okay, if that's your angle, go for it. But if I go up on stage and I'm like, I rode 3 boards last night. Yeah. Had 4. Like, people want to kind of look at that person and go, well, he's fearless. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I wish I could kind of be like that. And that's what I was saying to Stephen. He came in and he was like, I want to get back into comedy. And I was like, take your time. Yeah. Let these people who are getting offended get offended. And because they're all going to annoy each other eventually. Yeah. I've noticed that. I remember I was upstairs and we were all waiting for a gig to happen. And there was a girl, she was on stage. She just came off stage. And I goes, no, she didn't even go on stage yet. We were sitting down up at the stairs. And I goes, can I get a cigarette off you? And she just wanted to kind of be the funny girl at the time, right? Yeah. And she was like, oh, are you even allowed to be in here? You look about 12. Are you even allowed to have a smoke?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, if you want to try this, I'll become the
hackiest fucking line you could fucking go after.
I turned around and I was like, well, I'm old enough to fuck you, so how does that fit? You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, anyone that's intelligent will go, well, the legal age to smoke is 16, the legal age for sex is 17. Of course you can smoke. Yeah. You know what I mean? Boom, everyone turned around. You better have some respect for women. It's like, if she wants to be a comedian, she needs to learn to take a heckle.
Well, here's the fucking other side of it too. Like, she engaged the scenario. She started insulting you. And that's the thing, like, I mean, here's the reality. Like, for the most part, I think, most people aren't of this easily insulted nation. Your average Joe and your average Josephine just wants to laugh at fucking jokes. Yeah. They're never going to go online and start going, I'm so offended, because they don't give a fuck. So I reckon it's about 90 to 95%. But it's the ones that go online and shout, I'm so offended. You're like, yeah, but you're not really representing the whole lot. Your average person just gets up, goes to work, and just wants to fucking have a drink and a laugh in the evening. Like.
Do you know what the thing is? I've realised that if someone gets offended, it's like, okay, be offended. You know what I mean? And the average person who comes to a gig and who just wants to kind of take the time away from getting out of their own head, they're just like, okay, well, if they do get offended, just like, right, I'm kind of annoyed at that one, whatever, next comedian's going to say something funny that I like. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And you can't pick and choose when it's in a public forum. Like, exactly. If you hired that comedian to do a spot at your fucking own private gig and you've given him a list of stuff that you want him to do or you don't want him to do, happy days. If he takes the money or she takes the money, then happy days, that's your gig. Well, you walk into a public forum, it's all bets are off.
Exactly.
I've never had it. I've never ever had it, and I've done stuff where I know people have gone, oh Jesus Christ, but I'm kind of raging because I can't wait for the day that somebody comes up and goes, actually. Because I will fucking eat them through the fucking middle.
I think you should. Do you know the thing is, my mum wants me to be careful about what I say on stage, right? And then I've got the aspect of it. Well, this is how I'm thinking. This is how I'm seeing it. And because I'm 21 years old, I've realised that I can say whatever the fuck I want to say on stage.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have the opportunity to learn over the course of my career, how is that any development?
You have to take risks.
I feel like that the comedy scene is. They say that what was it? It was something like working a 9 to 5 is hard, doing comedy is harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're literally throwing yourself out there, and people. You want people to accept you.
Well, it's all about your perspective of hardness too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've had lads who are fighters on this, like, and they're going, and they get punched in the face daily for a business. Yeah, you're like, that's the maddest shit I've ever heard. So it's all perspective. Whatever fucking scares you, that's a hard job.
That's a hard job. You know. But no, I'm really enjoying it. I want to kind of get more gigs. I think I'm going over to Manchester in August to perform in the Pride. Now, I'm not too sure if that's still going ahead.
Right.
But I was doing a lot of work with Martin Beans.
Yeah.
And he brought me down to Galway. I've noticed that college students are fucking insane.
Yeah, well, they drink at noon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I remember I did a gig in Maynooth, and they set it up outside the student union.
Yeah.
And I went on stage and I was like, what the fuck are we doing this here for?
It's like letting 14-year-olds drink. That's essentially, like, maybe third year they start to mature a bit, like fourth year maybe, but like first and second year it's off the fucking chain.
Oh, they just want to get locked.
Especially if they went to a school that's all boys or all girls, like.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's fucking bonkers. Like, I saw it. Like, I mean, by the time I went to college, because we had a kind of very lax mixed school, like so we were going out for a few pints on a Friday when we were in sixth year, like a couple of us, like there was no beat. We weren't messy, like we were just. So by the time I got to college, I was an old fella, like. And you see lads that were coming out of fucking like all boys boarding schools, and they're just fucking injecting heroin in their eye.
Yeah,
like,
pretty
know,
much.
And you're going, what are you fucking
pretty
doing?
Pretty much, yeah. They just go wild. I remember I went to an all boys school up in Selbridge, Salesian College.
Oh yeah,
I almost got kicked out of it actually at one point in third year.
For what?
I smoked a joint in school, and it was when I was 15 years old starting to smoke weed, and it was like, do you know what it was? My mate came up to me, he's like, "Do you want to smoke a joint out the grass, out in the field?" Like, I don't know. He said, "You have art next." I was like, "That's exactly a good reason to do it. I'll just sit there drawing circles all day." And I ended up going green in the bathrooms. I got sick everywhere. The principal pulled me out. And like the boys I realised that when the girls came up from the girls' school, they didn't know what to do. They were going on like fucking gorillas and all, like, you know what I mean, trying to pull each other apart. And it's like, what are you boys doing? And I've noticed that if you don't integrate people as well, they don't know how to fucking...
it's deadly dangerous, like, because you're all going around fucking just banging your heads off each other, full of fucking hormones, like, you don't know what the fuck to do with yourself.
That's it, and all the boys have to shower together. You know what I mean? I didn't know if I liked that.
Yeah, I mean, it was... Yeah, I never showered in school with lads, really, like, because the school they were all divided showers, but in playing sports, alright, like, but it was, I mean, it was an element of don't look down. Yeah, that was John spoken. Don't be looking down.
Don't be looking down.
Don't be looking down. Because when you play rugby down and all of a sudden the cunt walks in, he's 6'8", and you're like, fuck. Fuck.
It's in me face, man.
It's in me face. Jesus Christ. It just stared at the ceiling, you know.
That's it. You have to look up.
So have you, and where was your very first gig? Was that in...
Whelan's.
Was it?
My very first gig was in
Pop
Whelan's.
the Cherry? No, Cherry wouldn't have been going, would it, at the time?
Oh, was it Whelan's? No, it was the Workman's. It was in the Workman's. What happened was Sharon put on a gig for everyone at the end of it. She gets basically at the end of the workshop. She was like, "Right, you can invite friends, family, and we'll just see how we all work together." I got a lot of stick for doing that workshop because they're like, "Oh, look at you! You had to go be taught how to be funny." It's like,
no, I never did one, but loads of lads I know did one. But it's a good, like, but sure, even still, like, you get somebody like Rod Gilbert.
Yeah,
he was maybe 10 years in, and he met with a coach. And the same coach, he's coached a bunch of people. I think he was on Conan. I think he worked for Conan, I think. Or maybe I'm wrong now, but there's, like, on Conan, if you're doing your 5-minute spot, you could be a 20-year veteran, but he wants to see your set first, and he goes, "Yeah, we might shave out fucking that line there. There's no need in that sentence. Yeah, look, go on to the next bit." So you're getting coached regardless. Yeah. Like, I mean, the day you think you're good enough, you're straight out the gate good enough. Like, you know, you're not. Like, like, you know, because you're constantly getting fucking better, like.
That's it. Yeah, you constantly have to progress. I've noticed when they turned around, they're like, you had to be taught how to be funny. It's like, well, a lot of you boys get jokes written for you. You know what I mean? And so it's like, where's your aspect of funny?
Who was this?
A few comedians on the scene. It's like, do you know what it is? It's the real it's the real people that get offended.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I used to work for Amnesty International.
Did you?
And I go, yeah, I did. Yeah, that was my day job, and I only did it so I could pull women. Like that was my thing.
That's honest.
Yeah,
that's honest.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I signed people up to charity. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they got what they wanted, I got what I wanted, and we were all a happy
Were
family.
you out on the street joking?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I have jokes about it as well.
Fair play to you.
I was good. I hit the target every single day, and it was kind of like get out into the world and realise that people are going to be cunts because people walk by and don't even acknowledge it. And I realised that was the hardest part for me, is not getting the acknowledgement of a person just because I'm a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But simply because that they're in their head that, okay, this person just wants money. Half the time you stop people, they don't sign up. You know what I mean? But they want to chat. And sometimes you can educate people. Like my pitch was abortion, all right, which is a fucking horrible pitch to do. it's killer. But if you stop a woman, and then you're like, listen, let me just tell you this. Like, the women in El Salvador are getting locked up and mutilated. And do you think this is fair? They're like, no. I was like, deadly, sign up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if they don't sign up, you educate people. And I did that at 19 years old. And that's when I realised that the world is fucking mad. You know
the world is mad. There's no doubt. Like. But that's why I found, like, for me, it's just easier to keep life real fucking simple.
That's it.
Stay the fuck out of everybody's way and just do my own fucking thing.
Do your own thing, yeah.
I have about 4 things in life that I actually fucking, that's it, that I handle. Everything else,
whatever.
Don't give a bollocks.
Yeah, that's
like,
it. I'm the
before
same.
I start stressing about that kind of shit, like.
There's no need for it, you know what I mean? I think people, especially in this country, they've kind of taken an American narrative.
We always have, since the fucking, like, we were never going to go the other way because we were so adverse to what, because England is, you know, but very much have taken the American narrative, like when it comes to like coffees in the morning now and everything, you know what I mean?
Anything nearly, and it's like, can we just be ourselves? You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at America, and it's like, basically what happened was I had an incident where I had to go to court, and the judge turned around and goes, "You won't be able to ever live in America." I was like, "Fucking thank you, I appreciate
What
that."
did you do?
Oh, I've done a couple of things. Do you know what? I wasn't actually.
You were a pup.
I was. Do you know what? It was like.
Did you get convicted?
Not yet. Not yet. We're still ongoing. I've been in court more times than OJ at this point. But what happened was I got done on driving charges.
Right.
For a car that I wasn't driving. And I wasn't in.
Okay, fair enough.
But they seen me leave the vehicle.
Right.
And so that's their argument on it. You know what I mean? But I wasn't in it.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean? So I got a driving ban. But what happened was the judge turned around and she goes, "You get in trouble again, you'll never be able to live in America or Australia." I was like, thank the fucking Lord, America's going to nuke themselves to death now, and Australia has spiders, and I don't like them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm cool with this, don't worry. And it's like, why do you want to be American? Why do you want to try and be we're fashionable, we're like really kind of famous, and we're trying to build up a thing? It's like, but the Irish people, for years, just worked in factories, and ate spuds, and drank, and took the piss out of each other. You know what I mean? And that's what the culture kind of developed around. That's a lot of town, from what I've seen.
Well, I think the thing about America is they sell themselves very fucking well. Like, but I lived in America for a while, and I can tell you there's a lot of it fare backward.
Yeah.
Like, there was one point there we were in Texas, and I remember we were driving past this one bit, and you hear about these trailer parks, and you assume, you just don't know logistically how they look. Well, fuck me. We're talking now a straight road. You could fucking like, if you shot a bullet, it would drop on the road and you'd see it drop. That's how straight it was. I mean, like a fucking arrow, this road. We drove we hit we'll say we hit the corner at Crossroads. We were driving along and we hit the corner of this fucking caravan site / fucking trailer park, and 5 minutes later we were still passing it.
No way.
Yeah, 5 fucking minutes of non-stop fucking caravans, like, and you're going, fuck!
Yeah.
There must be 50,000 people living in there.
Do you know, it's mad, like...
And you never see that on any Home Alone videos or any movies, you never see that shit.
They want to glamorise it, and it's cool, like, if America want to do that, cool, go for it, if that's how you want to live. You know what I mean?
But I think the curtain is coming back being pulled back a small bit, because I mean, when you put a fucking, when that's what you put as your head of house, like,
I love Trump. I kind of think Trump's gas. Like, whatever about him wanting to build a wall or whatever.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have him as your own fucking president.
No,
he's great spectacle to watch. Yeah. Like he's brilliant news. Like, you know what I mean?
I like the way he just turned around and was like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna say what I want to say and do what I want to do, because I've got the money to back it up, and I'll get into office anyway." Like, I think people are going, "Oh, he knew. He didn't know he was going to get into office. He knew he was going to get into office straight away."
Yeah, well, I think he was probably at the backing of a lot of people who can handle him, like, that kind of way, and he'll just sign the bills that they want him to sign, and people will make money, like,
that's it. Yeah.
But I mean, sure, what was the alternative? Like, she looks like a fucking the devil walking around,
Like, the rumours that I've been told, because you go into a pub and everyone's like, you're hearing about Trump and Hillary, and Hillary's going to start World War III, and Trump's going to nuke the world, and it's like, well, what if these people don't want to do any of that? You know what I mean? What if these people want to pass a couple of bills, make a bit of money, and just have the legacy of being a president?
That's most likely it, I would imagine. Like, but like, fucking hell, it just, for anything, it just makes great news. Yeah, it's no good if it's fucking shitty news. Like,
and do you know what the thing is? I've noticed it's not even that great. It's just, I think people are too stuck into their phones.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So they just need something to keep them there.
Exactly.
It's not even that they're interested. I've almost smashed that phone off the ground twice before even coming in here. You know what I mean?
Just a shy. But see, I think too, what adds to it, he's the full package. He looks mental.
Yeah.
And he's a great name for popping up on things. Like, if his name was O'Brien, it wouldn't be enough. You know what I mean? Or if his name was just Schneider or something, you're going, who? Who's that?
Yeah.
Because it's a fucking name you'll never hear anywhere else. Trump. Like, it's an invented name by his grandfather. His actually,
really?
Yeah, his name was Trump. They were German. Trump. So it was Trumpf. Yeah, okay. PF. So it was a German name. So they went, you know what? Let's just make it Trump.
Yeah,
let's make it Trump. And it's a great business name. It's called, like, my wife's maiden name was Sturdy. It's a great name when you want to build any. If you want a building company, it's a great name. Like.
It really is. Actually, that's good.
Do you know what I mean? So if you have that's half the fucking thing. Like, if that name, like, if his name pops up on your phone, it's just a great selling point.
It's triggering. You know
yeah, it's a trigger.
You see it and you're like, oh, I need to read this now.
And it's always written in capitals. Always. It's like the rest of the sentence might be written in lowercase. The full name Trump will always be written in capitals. Yeah. It's just it's a brilliant fucking name. Like,
it's a great marketing scheme, for himself.
Like, you know what I mean? If you were going on stage, like, there was points where I was thinking about, like, I mean, I thought about it, like, for just for the crack in acting, because people keep on, like, when I invoice people for different things and stuff, they go, oh, what's your real name? Like, what? Why would I pick what? And I go, oh no, it's just a lot of people, they don't use their real name. They just,
Yeah.
Like, all right, don't they? Fair enough. But because it was put to me, would you ever
change your name?
Because the thing is, when I go to the UK, they can't pronounce O'Mahony.
Yeah.
They can't. It's like and they'll pronounce a fucking 14-syllable Asian name.
No
but
problem.
when it comes to O'Mahony, it's like a mahogany. It really is a struggle. Like, I've written it out phonetically. It's that.
O'Mahony.
Like, I've done 2 N's, a U, like honey, like with a Y, and it's 2 I's even at the end. It's like, oh my good fuck, are you joking? It's because, I don't know what it is. Is it just brute ignorance, or is it just because, is it not Mahoney? It's like, no, it's not Mahoney, no. That's why Dave Allen, the comedian, with the guy who was portrayed the other night by Aidan Gillen, he just took his mother's maiden name, because he was 5 years in England gigging, and his agent went, listen, man, they're really struggling with your name. He went, I fucking know. What's the deal? Like? He goes, I don't know either. He says, maybe take another name. So I toyed with it, like, taking my wife's maiden name, because Sturdy is such a good name, like, and anybody can pronounce it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Do you know what I mean?
Tom Sturdy.
It's a good name. Like.
I suppose you could develop characters then from that.
You could, yeah,
yeah. I remember... during my first year stuff, I was gigging with Al, and Al became a mentor through Rory, and that was probably one of the best things that happened for me.
How did that come about?
Basically, Rory.
This is Al Porter, because Al was up to 90. How did he even put him aside to go? Because at that stage he was starting into the radio, wasn't he, and everything else?
No. Before that, no. Do you know what he was? He was like, I think he just finished up with 2FM, RT2FM. But basically what happened was Rory knew him well.
Yeah.
Rory Campbell.
That's actually where I met you first, I think, wasn't it? It was in 2FM. I was doing a piece. I did a bit every couple of weeks, and you were with Al, in 2FM, yeah.
And what happened was Rory seen me in the halfpenny like I was telling you about. And I don't know, Rory said it to me after. He goes, I liked what you said. Like, you talked about how your ma was a single mother.
Yeah.
And you just kind of, you had like a spark to you that I seen in Al when he first started.
Right.
So he's like, maybe Al blew up.
Yeah.
And Al had a great career. And he turned around and was
I love that in the past tense.
I think, you know what? Like, I don't know. I think everything's a load of... it's a lot.
But go on, continue with the story.
Anyway, Rory turned around. He goes, "I think there's something to you. You know what I mean? So we'll work on it." And then Al owed him a favour, and we went out to McGarry's pub. Out fucking which direction? I don't know, but it was out there. And Rory put me on. He wanted to give me another spot. He wanted to see what I could do, and then he was like, "Al, you owe me a favour, like, you know what I mean? Like, I got you gigs, and we got you to where you are.
Yeah.
So come down and just check out the guy. You know what I mean? See what you think of him. Let's see if you think that he could possibly progress in any way." And me and Al and Rory sat down after the gig, and we were drinking, and he just kind of goes, "Look, Rory was moving to Kuwait."
That's right, to sell cars.
Yeah, to sell cars. The mad fucking bastard that he is. He'd sell anything, honestly.
When he told me that shit, it was like, Jesus Christ. What's this one? What's that pub in Turn-Ure? No?
Where's Turn?
It's near Hart's Cross.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Rory was doing gigs out there for a while, and so what happened was me, Al, and Rory sat down afterwards, and he was just like, "Do you think you can mentor him? You know what I mean? Just kind of give him a..." Because when Rory seen me, he was like, "You're very raw to what you talk about. You know what I mean? Your dad being in prison, and your ma being the only person you had growing up, and how you went about things. So with a bit of guidance and a bit of, you know what I mean, kind of edging off, you'll eventually find where you want to go with it." And Al did. Al turned around and goes, "Right, yeah, look, I'll take him on board." And Al brought me on tour, brought me over to Edinburgh, brought me to Birmingham, fucking toured around Ireland, showed me a lot more than what a lot of people in this industry already have seen. You know what I mean? And it was fucking deadly. You know what I mean? And with everything going on now, I remember I wanted to say it to you. It's like I had every fucking newspaper in Ireland ringing me.
I'd imagine you did. I'd imagine you did.
Because what happened was me and Al brought out a story one time. I was sick of people asking me was I his boyfriend. Me and Al were up at RTE. I think he was going to do the what's that, Brendan?
The Cutting Edge.
Yeah, show. He was about to go on that, and he went for a quick little interview off. And the guy, me and Al turned around and were like, "Right, you know what we'll say? We'll say we're brothers, right?
Right.
And we'll say that your dad, who was my dad, went off and had a thing." You know what I mean? With another woman, and then we're only after finding out. And I want to do comedy. You want RT picked it up and released it
because Al Porter is his stage name. Yeah, it's Al Kavanagh, isn't it?
That's why I was not answering any phone calls from them. They were like, "Do you want to give your side on something?" I was like, "What is my side on anything?" You know what I mean? Al mentored me. Al was nice to me. That's the end of it. That's all. Yeah, you know what I mean? And
so exclusively, you're just stating that there's absolutely no shenanigans went on. Is that what you're saying?
None. No, it was great. It was like, me and Al had a lot in common at the start. Right. We both started comedy the same age. We both had our gigs in the first place. We both won the first time, and that's what kind of started us off being mates. And then it just kind of developed into like a work friendship, right? Where he wanted to. He needed somebody that you could speak to and talk to and just have a laugh with. Yeah. That wasn't just wanting him to gig. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Al got very big, very fast. Even
unbelievably fast.
Unbelievably. Yeah. And I was looking at it and I was like, usually when things go this fast, something might happen.
Yeah, the rails are going to come.
You know what I mean? Something happens. So I sat down and we were chatting and it was fucking immense. You know what I mean? I've had gigs and I've heard people actually chat shit about Al upstairs, and it's like, what you can't kick another comedian when he's down, right? For the fact of their actions are their actions, okay. Like without, because I can't even speak about the situation.
Yeah, no, you can't speak about it. Like.
A person's actions is their actions. Now, if you are on the scene to them, and 6 months prior you're all licking their arse trying to get a gig off them, and then as soon as they go downhill, you're there chatting and bitching about them. it's kind of like, well, what the fuck are you doing?
You see, I think people mistake comedy for actually being a nice world. And that was the one thing, like, I mean, I spoke to people who would have known Al from Panto, you know what I mean? And they were like, Jesus, it's just terrible how the wolves are at the door. I says, you have no idea what the comedy world is like. It's a bunch of lone wolves.
Yeah.
There is no camaraderie. Like.
There's none.
There's none.
There's none.
And expect none. And you see, that's the other side of it. Like, and I was saying, I wasn't defending anybody, but what I was doing was explaining that. Says, in the Panto world, it's a long-standing place. It's a long-standing thing where it's teams of people who need to support each other. In comedy, as soon as you fuck around at all, you're going to get ripped asunder.
Yeah.
You're going to get ripped asunder. And you see, somebody getting as big as that, whether it was one form or another, unless you endear yourself to somebody, they ain't going to fucking like you in any bit at all. So it's the first opportunity. It's like, yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to, and as you said, if you're coming up that fast, making that kind of money, you have to be squeaky clean. Like. You fucking have to be. And he's not much fucking older than you even, like. So I mean, he's going to learn that. Like, that's a hard lesson to fucking learn.
The thing is, like, he is a young fella still, and a lot of people aren't realising now. I know there's a lot of people that are like, well, you there's basic lines that you can't overcross.
The likes of, say, Al, and maybe I can't think who else blew up so fast as in anything, like, but and all condensed here. I mean, the bit abroad, but really condensed here in a heavy, like the TV channels were just throwing him on everything. So it's almost like people were being asked to invest in his persona, and then all of a sudden this comes out. It's only because people have invested so much that the newspapers and the TV stations and all the rest of them go, well, yeah, you're owed this from him, like his downfall. If you're owed his rise because you invested in looking at it or paying for tickets, then you're definitely due his fucking downfall too. Like, and people are like, yeah, we are. You know what I mean?
So can't wait for that.
That's just what happens. Like, if that's not the risk you're willing to take, that's the other side of it too. If that's not the risk you're willing to take, go work in a bank. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So there's two sides to everything. Like, it's cunty for everybody. Yeah. But if you're going to be putting yourself out there and making that kind of money, you fucking have to be like, do you know what I mean? You have to be fucking whiter than white, like, because they're only waiting for that moment.
They're waiting for that one moment.
You can guarantee that smart editors are stockpiling stuff on everybody who comes up. So guarantee you. I'm telling you now, this turning of the tide. If the UFC drop Conor McGregor, I can guarantee you what they will fucking have stockpiled on him. What people are talking about. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There'll be stuff stockpiled on everybody who's making it because they need to have. You couldn't be relying on something showing up every day. Yeah, you know what I mean. Exactly. You go, oh, that's a good story. We won't really. No, hang on to that. Hang on to that now. That'll be great.
And then in a couple of years, when they fuck up, we'll smack it with it.
We'll just beat the living fuck out of them.
Do you know what? Right? I remember when everything kicked off, and I was watching a lot of comedians who were close to him, kind of just like cut ties and everything. And me as a person, I was always taught, like, if someone's nice to you and good to you, you can't just turn your back on a person just because their actions aren't your actions. You know what I mean? Yeah. And as long as that, like, Al literally at one point paid my rent for 3 months, because I remember I moved out my mum's, not willingly. You know what I mean? We were going through some shit, and I moved out my mum's, and I hadn't got a job. I had no way to do it. I was really kind of trying to focus on comedy, and he was like, "Look, like, you know what I mean? You're a young fella in here, and we'll sort you out. We'll help you." You know what I mean? And he paid me rent for 3 months, and that covered me until I got a job. You know what I mean? I work in an apple green. Right, you know what I mean? And that was paying the rent. And at that point, I knew that, like, if someone is willing to take money off themselves to help you make sure you're okay, you can't just turn around and go, well, fuck him, he fucked up, you know what I mean? It's to a point where, and...
So moving on to a lighter subject. Yeah. Manchester is up next. Are you?
Hopefully. Yeah, I hope that's still going ahead. Because what Martin was saying to me, I fucking love Martin. He's a mad bastard.
I don't think I've ever met him.
He is bang on. What happened was, apparently Martin was on the scene for a while, and then he disappeared because of what I've noticed on the scene. You know what I mean? All the fucking clicky bullshit that's going on.
Well, here's the thing. You got to press on. You have to. I'm telling you here now, you've no choice. I'm not in any clique, But I'm lucky now that I've if you keep bashing your head off the wall, it'll fucking come away eventually. But you have to be a thick-necked fucker to do it, and just stay going, because you're not going to get into cliques. You're not, unless you are in a clique. You ain't getting. You're not getting into it. You're not getting in.
They don't want you in it.
Which just suits me fine. Yeah, it suits me fine. I have nothing trendy to talk about. So it suits me fucking fine.
It's like. You have to create your own work.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, from who I started with, a lot of the comedians I started with dropped and stopped it very quickly because they thought that you're just going to text a promoter and he's going to give you a gig.
No.
I've texted promoters hundreds of times, they won't even reply to my text message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, right, well, you can be like, oh, you're not giving me a gig and fuck you.
It's not a public service.
It's not.
It's a private company.
You know what I mean? And it's like, for me, the way I want to start doing stuff is I'm going to start creating my own work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Get gigs. Joe Dolan, or Dowling, however you pronounce his last name.
It's Dowling. I hope it's not Dolan, because he's dead.
Call him Dolan.
He's dead. He's been dead 5 years. So.
He's doing the Woolshed at the moment.
Yeah.
I always get gigs off him. I love Joe because he's just up for the crack. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. When I started, I was actually down in Cork at the time. I was living in Cork, and it quickly became apparent. All right, if I need to gig on a weekly basis, which would. In anything. If you're a carpenter, you at least need to fucking work once in a week to actually get better at cutting fucking timber. I started my own place.
Yeah.
And just started my own.
That's it.
Got a decent fucking pomo winner behind and ran it for a year and a half and got really good at MCing.
Yeah.
From being shite to being good.
Do you know what? You were actually the first stand-up comedian I ever went to see.
Where did you see it?
You were performing in the Civic Theatre a couple of years back.
Oh, yeah.
What's your man from the Waterford Whispers?
Jerry McBride. Yeah. My own show. Yeah.
I remember that, and it was at that point. That's what made me want to kind of get into something along those lines.
How did you end up going to that gig?
My ma's a director. My ma's a theatre director.
So she's one of the hardy women you meet downstairs. Who don't take any shit.
No,
I fucking love them women. She's
not there per se. She's not on the desk. But my ma worked for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
My ma got the grants and put on plays. My ma's a fucking amazing writer. So,
right.
Oh, unbelievable. She has a play called Making Lemonade. Yeah. The thing is insane. Her character development is mad. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And so what happened was we were in the house one day and she was like, Nathan, listen, I've got I get free tickets in the Civic Theatre to anything I want. It's a comedy show on. Would you like to go down? I was like, who's playing? There was Tom Bear O'Mahony. I was like, who the fuck is Tom? You know what I mean? Because I was 18 at the time. I was like, who the fuck is Tom? She's like, would you like to go? I was like, fuck it, we'll go. And Jerry came out and I was like, okay, look at fucking Tom over here now. And I thought that was you. And the way that Jerry had a good half hour? Yeah, and he warmed it up, and the way Jerry's a fucking mad bastard.
He's brilliant.
I love him. I've only gigged with him a couple of times, but I've realised he had something. He was talking about his dad being in hospital and laughing at the geezer where the kind of coke stuck up his hole, and I thought it was great because it's just some madness that if it did or didn't happen, it's still fucking great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you came on stage and I seen you in Damo and Ivor.
Right.
And it clicked with me that you were in Damo and Ivor, and I was like, I liked you in that. You know what I mean? And so when you see somebody in something you like, then you automatically kind of like them.
Oh, there's
anyway.
a warmth. Yeah.
You know
I mean, you've won people over already.
And I watched it, and I came out with your gig, and I was like, right, well, that seems to be something I want to go and try.
Thing.
You know what I mean? It's a good thing. And then I did the workshop and blah blah blah. Met fucking Al, Rory, the lot of them, and then I ended up having a gig down in Bray.
Right.
That's when I seen you then again. And I came up to you. I came up to you. It's like 2 years ago. I seen you in the Civic Theatre, and now we're gigging together. And that's what I love about comedy as well. It's not it's a big world, but it's not exactly a fucking huge
it's not,
world.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like once you get onto the scene, the people that you went to see, you will work with if you stick with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's what I really liked about it. Like I've worked with Alison Spittle. You know what I mean? Who has her RT. I've worked with some people who are going well in their career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's madness because then as a young fella, you're sitting down and you're going, oh, well, maybe that could happen for me. Do you know what I mean? And it's I suppose everyone wants to be something at the end of the day. Whether it be famous or whether it be not. They want to be something and to be accepted almost into a world where you were watching it 2 years ago and now you're in it and you're working with all the boys who you were watching. It's fucking deadly.
Yeah.
He said, do you know what I mean? It's okay, well now I'm into this. And what happened was, after I came off tour with Al, I sat back and I was like, right, I need to soak in all this information because it was mad. You know what I mean? Like how shows are put on. You know what I mean? How the places are booked out, how the tickets are sold. I learned a great mass about the business in such a small time, so I had to come back and sit down and just digest it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, and now I've realised where I want to go in my comedy. You know what I mean? And how I want my work to go and which kind of way. And I know for a fact you're going to be figuring it out each fucking gig you do.
Yeah, of course. Oh, fuck me, yeah. Jesus
spin
Christ.
You in every direction, you know what I mean?
You'll find that even still years down the line, you go, oh, nice. So yeah, if I fucking take it that way, like, you know, it will. Like, I'd say, like, given where you even... I mean, we ran a club, actually, in Selbridge for a while. And it did well enough. Your man got fucking hungry with the pub, all right. But it was a great fucking room.
Which pub was this?
It was the Village Inn. It's myself and Danny O'Brien.
Yeah, I know.
And he was we were putting like 70 people every week in there. Like. We were doing it monthly, and then we were doing it every 2 weeks because it was doing like 70, 80 people on a Friday night. And the kind of people that you know for a fact would never darken the door of that pub. Yeah. They were just not that sort of people. Like. So, but I think your man, he was delighted the first like 3 months, and then all of a sudden he just started getting hungry. And he was like, could you not put 100 people in there? It's like, could you not just fuck off?
Do you know what? It's gas. Yeah, I'll give you this little story. His pub got petrol bombed.
That pub, did it?
Yeah, that pub got petrol bombed. Apparently, the two boys that were working with the Kinahans came into the pub, and he turned around and goes, I'm not going to serve you. And he goes, we just want a pint. That's all we want, is just to have a pint, a drink, and chat. He goes, no, I'm not serving you. He goes, you sure you want to do this? And he's like, yeah. Left, petrol bombed the gas things the same night.
They burn it to the ground?
Almost, but they burnt out a big electrical part of the side of it, and the insurance wouldn't pay them either.
Fuck.
From what I've been told. I'm not saying it's fact, but I live in the area and that's what I was told. And do you know what, man? I can't even associate with people in my area sometimes.
But that's why I was thinking, like, a place like Maynooth is fucking huge. I mean, you could open a fucking place in Maynooth. I was approached by a couple of, but I wouldn't have the time anymore, like. Yeah. But I've been approached by a few places to put on fucking at the very least monthly. But I mean, with the amount of students, if you did a Thursday night in there, like, I've seen my Thursday night in Maynooth. Fuck me, it's hopping. Yeah. Hopping.
It can be, yeah. Do you know what? I remember I did a gig in the Woolshed, and someone came up to me, they were like, would you not start up your own thing? I was thinking about it, but...
You totally should. That's, like, for purely getting more gigs. It's like there's nothing out that part. Like, it's a satellite town. There's nothing out there for getting more gigs. That's the advice I would give, because the more gigs you get,
the better you become.
And the more, like, here's the thing: you're delivering a product to somebody who's running a fucking company. They owe you nothing. Yeah. And why the fuck would you? Well, why would you hire a plasterer if they haven't got a fucking trowel? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So nobody owes you fucking anything. Nobody owes you anything in life. Yeah. You have to fucking earn everything, like, but. Because there's a generation kind of coming now, they're standing there screaming at the sky going, I'm due this, you're due fucking nothing. You can fall down dead of hunger on the footpath. I just say it to a couple of my mates, I'm like, your entitlement, like, you feeling like you're entitled to all this is the reason why you're still in the same spot. You gotta fucking work. And you know what I mean? I honestly think that would probably be the best advice I'd give you, is to open your own place. Even if you only get a year out of it, at the very least what you'll get is you'll make good contacts, because you're bringing people out. Smart thing to do is bring people out who have their own clubs as well, like, and they'll give you ones back in return, so now you're getting double the fucking gigs, and it'll, you know what I mean, it endears you a bit. But plus, if you're hosting, which is going to be difficult the first few times, but if you're hosting, it's the best thing for your comedy, because you write jokes on the fly. Yeah, you can stick in material too, like, you know what I mean, as you're going. But what you'll find then, you'll get material. You'll build material on, oh right, you work for the civil defence. Oh right, that's a stock, I'll put that away. If you watch Darragh O'Brien, like, he has a stock of everybody's, because he MC'd down in City Limits for years, down in Cork. Yeah. He would go down and he would host there for about 3 years. He was a resident host, pretty much. Wow. And that's he builds 30 minutes of his whole show is crowd work. Yeah. And that's from hosting. Yeah. And he has stockpiles of, you're in the nursing industry, I have at least 10 jokes on that. Yeah. Right, you're in the whatchamacallit. And all you do is you add the person's name to it. What's your name? Oh, Nathan, is it? Oh, yeah, of course, Nathan. Well, you must be in the army. You know, and he's got all that stuff. And it looks like it's on the fly. Is it fuck? I guarantee he learned it back in 1997 in City Limits.
You know, I love one thing he did. He was doing a show, I think it was Live at the Apollo. Right. You know what I mean? And he walked up and he was like, you, pick a number. And they were like, 6. He's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You. and then you start going in at them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, when I first seen that, I was like, that has to be the maddest thing, because you don't know who you're going to come up against.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, you see, when you have that stockpile in your mind, and that's all he does is stand up. And you see, by the time you see him at the Apollo, especially when it's a special or whatever, you can be guaranteed he has worked every small club, maybe 3 clubs a night, by maybe fucking 5 weeks beforehand. And by the time you've done maybe 60 gigs in a row, you are fucking humming. The engine is roasting. And at that stage, nothing can be thrown at you because you're so in the zone at that stage. You know what I mean? Like, that's why Edinburgh works so well for people, because if you're not even getting a lot of... If you're not gigging regular, what is great is it's 21 to 23 gigs in a row, and then you're doing loads of little comp shows around the city as well. So you're doing all these 10-minute, 5-minute spots everywhere else. You come away, like my first year in Edinburgh, I think I came away after doing 63 shows. Of variants, my own show, as well as doing loads of little comps in the space of 21 days, which is bananas. So you're getting a fucking year of crammed into 3 weeks.
Straight away. I remember, like, when Al brought me on tour and we went to Edinburgh and everything, it was my first year, and I think I did...
Were you there for the full run while he was there?
No, I wasn't there for the full run. On which, in Edinburgh?
Yeah. Was that the time you were there for a week, was it?
Yeah, that was the time I was there for a week. We went over. He flew me over. He was like, do you want to come see what it's like? I was like, yes, I do. He was like, grand, yeah, come on, there's a plane ticket, let's go. Flew me over, and I swear to God, from Edinburgh, Birmingham, and the tour, I think I did over 120 gigs. Like, because he used to just throw me out in front of the stage. I remember in...
Oh, you were opening for him as well, were you?
Little bits, you know what I mean? And he 500 seaters. 500 to 1,000 people seaters, and he'd just be like, yeah, and so what I'm going to quickly do is a guy, he's new on the spot, he's new on the scene, Nathan, get out. And he just throw you out in front of 700 people.
Deadly.
And it is the greatest learning experience ever. You know what I mean? And so we did over 100 gigs over the year. Yeah. Yeah, that's with me getting my own gigs as well. And I was coming off, and you can't shut off at all. You're walking down the road, your mates cracking jokes.
Oh,
and stop then. You know what I mean? And then people...
That wears off, Nathan. That wears off.
Do you know what the thing is? People want you then to always be that. I've noticed that. They always want you to be the comedian. It's like, sometimes I don't want to be funny.
No, but here's the thing, like, and you get very business minded after a while, like, you know what I mean? And you go, like, quite literally, for last night, for example, 20 minutes at 150,000 miles an hour. Come off, boom. That's it. You're not getting another funny thing out of it. Nobody's paying me for that time.
I know what you mean.
Nobody's paying me. I clock out. That's it.
That's it.
I would
done.
happily talk about fucking car parts or fucking the weather, but you ain't getting anything funny out of me. No way.
You still hunting?
Yeah, still hunt. Yeah.
And so, how did you get into that? Because you're a country lad. I know that anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, there's country and there's, like, where I would... Actually, weirdly, where I'm from, even though it is pure country, everybody was very professional where I lived. You know what I mean? There was farmers and everything, but there was a lot of people who worked, because there's a lot of industry nearby in, like, the pharmaceutical worlds and stuff like that. So there was a lot of scientists, a lot of police officers and stuff lived around on a row. Yeah. So even, like, shooting, like, it wouldn't be as red raw, say, as the depths of Wicklow. Yeah. You know what I mean? because it's on a through, like, you're quite on a through road between Dublin and Cork. So there's a lot of nearby industry. So it was never, you never felt, fuck me, we are alone out here.
In the sticks.
You never felt like so. But even still, like I learned how to drive when I was 7. You know, that kind of way. So there still was real country shit. Like, but and just working, like, I was doing man work when I was 12, like, working on a pig farm with ex-cons and fucking tough motherfuckers. Like. Yeah. So guns start coming your way then when it's like, let's fucking shoot a couple of rabbits, like. And then I actually liked the ethos of actually gaining my own food from it. And then I fell back in with my cousins. I didn't fall out with them, but because I moved up here, they're only maybe 60 miles down the road in Wicklow. And they're big time into shooting. Yeah. Big time into shooting. Because they've about 300 acres. And it's pest control more than anything. Because I heard a deer come down, they could wipe out half a field in a week, like, if you're not keeping an eye on it. Because I know that grass is for your fucking cows. Yeah. That you're trying to sell for fucking, and all of a sudden you go up in the field that's fucking skinned because a bunch of these bastards came down. And very few people are shooting enough anymore. So there's an overpopulation of deer. So I'm more than happy to take 2 or 3 deer a year and butcher them myself and have a big ass freezer. Yeah. Still have a bunch of venison.
So you're doing the barbecues and everything.
Oh yeah. Well, the barbecuing, I don't know what the fuck I was doing with that. That was a wedding present to myself. And I just got a proper... I'd had other barbecues and the fucking things just rotted and stuff, and got this one, and it's American-made company, like, and they give you a 10-year guarantee. It just doesn't rot, like, you know, so... And I went, you know what? I've always fucking liked barbecue. And I just started reading into it and stuff like that, and just... How much...
doing a cooking show and everything.
But it was more so what it was a piss take. because I cursed so much through it.
Yeah.
That's all it was me just going, you know what, I was sick to fuck, not sick to fuck that I would need to make a political stance, right? But to the point where I was looking going, so this is the real superstar of the meal, guys. So what we're going to do here, right? And you're going, oh, would you ever fuck off? You all sound the same. So I made a piss take one, only with the view of people laughing. I had no interest in actually producing food from the end of this video. So it was basically how many curse words can I fit into like a 3-minute cooking video on a thing? And it was basically, fuck all them cunt yolks into this cunt of a fucking prick. And then you just put it in that bastard. And then all of a sudden, and people were going, no, tell me how you got to the bottom of what are those ingredients you stuck in there? It's like, what? Why are you asking Why the fuck? So then they just got sillier and sillier and just more cursing. And then I did a traveller call-out video as well.
I've seen that one, yeah.
What had happened there was it was being inspired, and a certain online magazine had a good friend comedian do a barbecue cooking video. I was like, you fucking... And a bunch of people tagged me in it and sent to me going, look at this shit. How convenient that a comedian is now being funny while doing barbecue videos. Like, I was like, you fucking... Now, they would have a colossal following, so on the basis of that, I didn't name them or anything. But not because I didn't really care. Like, I don't care. It's throwaway stuff. Like, but that was the call-out video. It was just doing a traveller fucking barbecue.
Do you know what? A lot of people don't realise... I can see a lot of people hold on to jokes or hold on to something to a point where it's like, this is mine. And it's like, well... There's people out there, like, I've wrote jokes for them. You know what I mean? And like, I've had jokes that I've used. I remember I sold Al a joke. It was, Al took it and twisted it and made it in his version. It was great for him. You know what I mean? My one was like, where's the strangest place you had sex? And you'd ask a girl, but where's strange? She's like, a car. She's like, I bet the gear stick never smelled the same.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then Al turned around. He's like, well, listen, I like the joke, but I feel like it could work in the write off. It's like, of course you can, yeah. And a lot of people then, they want to hold on. Like, I could turn around and go, no, that's mine. You cannot. But it's like sometimes he can do it better than me.
Yeah,
you get me? And it's like,
unless it's a very personal story, then it gets weird. It's like, oh, what?
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like
if I talked about me going to visit my dad inside, you know what I mean? And then he took it. It's like, well, you live with your dad. What do you?
Yeah,
you know
come on. Come on.
But other than that, it's.
So we'll wrap it up because I'm fucking caught for time. Where can people? Because I'll put links. Do you use Twitter? Or do you use Instagram? What do you use?
I use them all. I'll text them all.
And I'll bang them into the old whatchamacallit, the description of this. For now, Nathan Beatley, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.